Okay, so get this. You've been hearing all this buzz about AI, right? Especially AI agents. It's like suddenly everyone's an expert dropping terms like RIAS-CT and compound AI systems. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little overwhelmed.
It's definitely a lot to process. Yeah, it seems like AI is evolving at warp speed these days.
Right. So for today's deep dive, we're going to cut through the hype and demystify AI agents. We'll be using insights from a leading expert, IBM, to break down what they are, why they matter, and how they're changing the game. And get this, it's less about robots taking over and more about making our own lives easier and more efficient. How cool is that?
I think a lot of people are surprised when they learn that AI agents are really about amplifying our capabilities, not replacing us.
Totally. So let's start with a relatable problem. Imagine you're planning a vacation and you need to figure out how many vacation days you have left. You might think, hey, an AI could totally handle that.
Uh-huh.
But here's the thing. A simple AI model can't access your personal data like that. It's limited by the data it was trained on.
That's a great point. It's like having a supercomputer that can write poetry but can't tell you what the weather is like outside. It needs access to more than just its internal knowledge base.
Exactly. So how do we solve this? Enter compound AI systems. These systems are like a dream team of specialists. They combine AI models with access to databases, other tools, and even the internet to solve practical problems.
It's a game changer because it allows AI to interact with the real world in a much more meaningful way.
Now we're talking. It's like going from a solo act to a full-blown orchestra. But here's the question that pops into my mind. Who's conducting this orchestra? Who's deciding which instrument or tool to use when?
That's where control logic comes in. Think of it as the conductor's score, the set of rules that dictate how the system responds to queries. In earlier systems, this control logic was pre-programmed by humans, which had its limitations.
So it's like giving the AI a very specific recipe to follow step by step. But what happens if you ask it to make something that's not on the menu?
Exactly. That rigidity was a major drawback. But then came the rise of large language models, or LLMs. These incredibly powerful AI models can learn and adapt, allowing for much more flexible and intelligent control logic.
So instead of just following a recipe, LLMs can improvise and come up with new dishes based on what's available.
That's a great analogy. It's like shifting from thinking fast to thinking slow. LLMs can break down complex problems, plan their approach, and even recognize when they need more information or a different tool to get the job done.
Wait, hold on. This is where it gets really interesting. We're talking about AI that can strategize and problem solve almost like a human.
Mhm.
What are the key components that make these LLM agents so powerful?
Let's break it down. First, there's reasoning. This is the LLM's ability to plan, analyze, and strategize, figuring out the best way to tackle a problem. Then there's acting, which involves using external tools to get things done.
So the AI is like a project manager figuring out what needs to be done and then delegating tasks to the right specialists. That's impressive.
Exactly. These tools can be anything from search engines and calculators to other AI models or even access to real-world databases. It's all about having the right resources at its fingertips.
Okay, so we have reasoning and acting, but is there anything else that makes these agents tick?
Ah, yes. The final key ingredient is memory. And by memory, we mean two things. First, the agent remembers its internal thought process, kind of like how you might think out loud while solving a puzzle.
So it's like taking notes as it goes, keeping track of its progress, and making adjustments along the way.
Precisely. And secondly, it can access past interactions, which allows for more personalized and context-aware responses. For example, if you previously asked your AI agent about your vacation plans, it could use that information to provide more relevant recommendations in the future.
Wow, that makes sense. It's like the AI is building a relationship with you over time, understanding your preferences and needs. That's pretty cool. But before we get too carried away with all the cool stuff, let's bring it back down to earth. We need a framework to understand how to actually build these LLM agents right.
Right. There are a lot of different frameworks emerging, but one of the most popular is called ReACT, which stands for Reason, Act, Observe, Repeat. It's a cyclical process that allows LLM agents to learn and improve over time.
Ooh, catchy. So walk us through an example of how ReACT works in practice. Let's go back to that vacation planning scenario.
Sure. Imagine you tell your AI agent, I'm going to Florida next month, planning to be outdoors a lot, and I burn easily. How many 2-ounce bottles of sunscreen should I bring?
That's a good one. It's not just a simple calculation. There are a lot of factors involved. It needs to consider how long you'll be there, the UV index, how often you should reapply.
Exactly. A ReACT agent would first break down this complex problem into smaller steps. It might start by checking how many vacation days you have left. Then it could look up the weather forecast for Florida next month to estimate sun exposure. And then it would research the recommended sunscreen application guidelines.
Wow, so it's like a super efficient personal assistant that can do all the research and planning for you. What are the real-world implications of AI being able to do this kind of complex research and planning?
The possibilities are endless. Think about fields like medicine, where an AI agent could analyze a patient's medical history research, the latest treatment options, and even assist doctors in making diagnoses.
That's mind-blowing. But I do have to wonder, are these agents always the best solution? Or are there times when the good old-fashioned pre-programmed approach is still more efficient?
That's an excellent question. It's not about one approach replacing the other. It's more like a sliding scale of AI autonomy. Simpler tasks might be better suited for traditional approaches, while agents excel at handling complex, open-ended problems.
So it's about choosing the right tool for the right job. I like that. But how do we decide where a particular task falls on that scale? What factors should we consider?
Well, if the task has clear, predictable steps and doesn't require a lot of adaptation, or learning a pre-programmed system might be more efficient. Think about something like an automated email response system. The rules are pretty straightforward. If someone sends an email to this address, send this reply.
That makes sense. But when you're dealing with tasks that require more nuanced judgment, creativity, or the ability to learn from experience, that's when AI agents really shine.
Exactly. Think about tasks like writing a marketing campaign or designing a new product. Those require a deep understanding of human behavior, market trends, and even artistic
What's
sensibilities.
like the difference between following a set of instructions and actually composing a symphony? One's about precision, the other's about artistry.
That's a great way to put it. AI agents have the potential to become incredibly skilled at those more creative tasks, especially as they continue to learn and evolve.
Okay, so we've gone from simple AI models to compound systems and now to these super smart agents that can reason, act, and even remember. It feels like we're on the verge of something truly revolutionary. What are some other real-world problems that could be solved using AI agents?
Well, imagine an AI agent that could help you manage your finances. It could analyze your spending habits, identify areas where you could save money, and even recommend investment strategies based on your financial goals.
That would be amazing. I'm terrible at managing my own finances. It feels like I'm always one late fee away from disaster.
Or think about the potential for AI agents in education. Imagine a personalized tutor that can adapt to each student's learning style and pace, providing customized lessons and feedback.
That could be a game changer for students who struggle in traditional classroom settings. It's like having a teacher who's completely dedicated to your individual needs.
Exactly. AI agents could also revolutionize the way we interact with technology. Imagine a world where you can simply tell your AI agent what you want to do, and it takes care of all the technical details for you.
So instead of spending hours trying to figure out how to use a new software program, you could just say, hey, AI, create a representation for me on this topic, and it would handle everything.
Precisely. It's about making technology more intuitive and accessible to everyone, regardless of their technical skills.
This is all so exciting. It really feels like we're on the cusp of a new era.
Mhm.
But I do have one question that keeps nagging at me. Are we just creating a world where we're completely reliant on AI? What happens if the systems fail or malfunction?
That's a valid concern, and it's one that researchers and developers are taking very seriously. The goal of AI agents is not to create dependency, but to empower us. It's about augmenting our abilities, not replacing them entirely.
So it's more like a partnership where we work together with AI to achieve more than we could alone.
Exactly. Think of it like this. We invented cars so we wouldn't have to walk everywhere, but we still need to know how to walk. AI agents are tools that can help us do things more efficiently and effectively, but we still need to be active participants in our own lives.
That makes me feel a lot better. It's not about handing over control, it's about having a helpful co-pilot on this journey. But there are some areas where handing over control might be desirable, right? What about things like self-driving cars or even robots that can perform surgery?
Those are certainly areas where AI autonomy is being explored, and with good reason. In some cases, AI can perform tasks with greater precision and speed than humans, potentially saving lives and improving outcomes.
That's incredible. But with such powerful capabilities comes a great deal of responsibility, right? How do we ensure that AI agents are used ethically and for the benefit of humanity?
That's the million-dollar question, and there's no easy answer. It requires a multifaceted approach involving collaboration between researchers, developers, policymakers, and the public. We need to establish clear ethical guidelines for the development and deployment of AI agents, ensuring that they align with human values and prioritize safety and well-being.
So it's not just about building smart AI, it's about building responsible AI.
Absolutely. We need to address potential biases in the data used to train AI agents and ensure that they don't perpetuate existing inequalities or discriminate against certain groups of people. Transparency is also crucial. We need to be able to understand how AI agents make decisions and have mechanisms in place to hold them accountable for their actions.
It sounds like a lot of careful planning and consideration is needed to navigate this new frontier responsibly. But all this talk about advanced AI agents makes me wonder about the future of work. Are we all going to be replaced by robots?
That's a common concern, and it's understandable. However, history has shown us that technological advancements tend to create more jobs than they displace. Think about the invention of the printing press. It automated the process of copying books, which initially led to job losses for scribes.
But then it created a whole new industry around printing and publishing, leading to countless new jobs and opportunities.
Exactly. The key is to adapt and evolve alongside technology. We need to focus on developing the skills and knowledge that will be in high demand in an AI-powered world.
So instead of fearing AI, we should be focusing on how to leverage its power to enhance our own capabilities and create new possibilities.
Precisely. AI agents have the potential to liberate us from mundane and repetitive tasks, freeing up our time and energy to focus on more creative, strategic, and fulfilling work.
This has been so insightful. But I have to admit, all this talk about the future of work and AI ethics is making my head spin a little. It's a lot to process.
I agree. It's important to take a step back and acknowledge the magnitude of this technological shift. AI is going to fundamentally change the way we live, work, and interact with the world around us.
And it's happening faster than most of us realize.
Yeah.
I think we need a moment to pause and reflect on everything we've discussed so far. All right, Deep Divers, we're back and ready to wrap things up. Before we took a moment to reflect, we were discussing the huge impact AI is going to have on our lives. Everything from how we work to ethical questions about how these systems are built. It's a lot to consider.
It really is. And I think one of the most important things for people to realize is that this isn't some far-off science fiction scenario. AI agents are already being used in many aspects of our lives, and their influence is only going to grow in the coming years.
So for our listeners who might be feeling a mix of excitement and maybe a bit of apprehension about this AI-powered future, what's the main takeaway? What should they be focusing on?
I'd say the key is to approach AI with a sense of curiosity and a willingness to learn. This technology has the potential to revolutionize so many aspects of our lives, but it's up to us to ensure that it's used responsibly and ethically.
It's like we're all pioneers venturing into uncharted territory. There's so much we don't know yet.
But that's also what makes it so exciting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need to be actively involved in shaping this new landscape, asking tough questions, demanding transparency, and holding developers accountable, for creating AI systems that benefit humanity as a whole.
So it's not about passively watching the AI revolution unfold. It's about actively participating in it and steering it in a direction that aligns with our values. Precisely. The future of AI isn't predetermined. It's something we create together.
That's a powerful thought. We're not just passengers on this train. We're the conductors. But as we wrap up our deep dive today, I want to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question. We've talked about all the incredible things AI agents can do, but what about the things they can't do? What are the uniquely human qualities that AI, no matter how advanced, can never replicate?
That's a brilliant question. It really gets to the heart of what it means to be human. I believe there are certain qualities that will always set us apart, even in a world where AI can perform many tasks better than we can. Things like empathy, compassion, creativity, and our ability to form meaningful connections with each other.
Those are the qualities that make life worth living, the things that give us purpose and meaning. It's reassuring to know that no matter how advanced AI becomes, it can never truly replace the human spirit.
Well said. And remember, deep divers, the future isn't something that happens to us, it's something we create. So let's go out there and create a future where AI empowers us, not defines us.
On that inspiring note, we'll wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of AI agents. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.